Okay, folks, so I want to share a little bit more information here on weather modification, more specifically cloud seeding. And I'm going to try to find the video clip from the blink cam from back in January. I believe it was January 16th of this year, that the blink cam that was up on the roof facing to the northwest captured what looks like a cloud seeding missile coming up from ground level, and then a secondary one as well that's real faint. But I'll try to find those videos and put them at the end of this one here. Just because I believe that that's what the camera captured, was them popping off one of these clouds, cloud seeding missiles from ground level to the north of our location here. But I just want to cover more really on the cloud seeding and the methods that they use. And this particular patent here talks about vehicles and systems for weather modification, and this was from 2017. And it says, a weather modification system that includes both systems and vehicles capable of modifying the weather. The systems may include devices capable of utilizing compositions to create dispersants that can modify the weather. The system is capable of autonomous weather modifications where the vehicles may operate for long periods of time in the air and may be directed by a control station. The vehicles may include an airplane, a UAV, a balloon, a satellite, an airship, such as a lenticular airship, a helicopter, or a lighter-than-air vehicle. I wonder what that would be, a lighter-than-air vehicle. The vehicles are capable of multiple functions, including weather modification, weather monitoring, and coordination between different vehicles. And it shows a figure here of an airplane all equipped. And there's some interesting figures here, actually. This figure one is kind of curious, and I believe it talks about how that's just kind of showing all the different directions. Figure 2. There's one of these figures here, figure 6, I believe it is, and I wanted to really highlight specifically for this video, but, yeah. And this one here, it shows an airplane, and it's got this type of apparatus installed on the bottom side of it. And if we go to the descriptions here of what number 6 is, you can see, I do have some stuff highlighted here, but let me see if I can get that up there where you can read it too. Read along with me. Figure 6, which is this figure right here with this thing attached on the bottom. Figure 6 illustrates an exemplary weather modification system having a projectile launching system consistent with disclosed embodiments. Figure 7, right here, figure 7, illustrates an exemplary weather modification system having missiles consistent with disclosed embodiments. And here's figure 8, showing this interesting thing here, and it's got these lines drawn out to the cloud like it's beaming the clouds, right? And that would be figure 8. Illustrates an exemplary weather modification system having a beam emitter consistent with disclosed embodiments. A beam emitter, folks. They've been up there in the upper atmosphere beaming us. So when I make comments and stuff about, don't beam me up, Scotty, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Let's see, figure 10 illustrates an exemplary command center consistent with disclosed embodiments. And there's their little command center, and you can see there's like a little map of the U.S. there. They have their little command center commanding all 4 of those. Interesting, huh? Figure 11 illustrates an exemplary transfer device used in a weather modification system. Yeah. There's their solar panel thing. But also what I wanted to highlight too here real quick, the beam emitter thing kind of is curious to me. And yeah, that's what I have highlighted here. Talks a little bit more about the flares. Yeah. For example, weather modification devices could burn or eject the weather modification compositions into target cloud using flare systems, generator system, projectile launching systems, missile systems, or beam emission systems. The weather modification devices may then spread dispersant into target cloud. Dispersant may help form water droplets and or ice crystals within target cloud. The water droplets and or ice crystals may attract moisture and fall from target cloud as precipitation or gorilla hail. Yeah. Here's a little description of a weather modifying vehicle. Weather modifying vehicle may include an aircraft such as an airplane, which is capable of operating for long periods of time at various altitudes where target clouds are located. Other types of aircraft may be utilized, such as a balloon, a satellite, an airship, e.g. a lenticular airship, a helicopter, an unmanned aerial vehicle, and other lighter-than-air vehicles. I'd still like to know what lighter-than-air vehicles are. Vehicle may be configured for deployment in the air. Yeah, so we talk about the flares, right? I do have a few images here, a couple. This is one here. You can see there's one of the cloud seeding racks equipped on an airplane. There's another one with one of the flares starting to go off. This is a Japanese one here. And you can look up this, this ID number N6151A, and you'll see it belongs to this little craft here that's equipped with cloud seeding flares. Yeah, so it's real. It's happening. It's been happening for a very long time. And so anyone that still wants to deny that those contrails that they say are contrails are really chemical trails, you're an idiot at this point. I can only believe that you're just an idiot and you're just stupid and you're just not going to be teachable when it comes to this kind of stuff. And you're just going to remain ignorant and remain one of them ignorant fools that will never admit that you're wrong. Period. Initial report on weather modification activities. This was from March of 2022. And this was for rain enhancement in Texas. And what does he talk about? Utilizes single-engine aircraft equipped with flare racks to enhance rainfall. So they're talking about these kinds of planes like this. These are flare racks. So it's very, very real, folks. And this was a report that was filed with NOAA's Central Library on weather modification reports back from last year. They've been doing it for a really long time, folks, and it's about time that they stop. 6, there's figure 6. I'm going to go back here. This is figure 6. Again, it's showing that device there. See if I can get this to focus a little better. There we go. Yeah, showing it mounted on the underside of the plane there. But then it's also showing all of these other, like, contact points. I'm going to use my little pointer here. You can put one on the hull here. You can put one here on the wing. You can put one on the tail. You can put one under here. You can use them all. How convenient is that, huh? Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Talks again here. See if I can get this in the focal point here. Figure 6. Illustrates an exemplary embodiment of a weather modification system having a projectile launching system for use as a weather modification device. The projectile launching system includes at least one projectile launcher that is attached to the vehicle by a suitable connection mechanism. In some embodiments, at least one projectile launcher may be attached to any suitable place of the vehicle. For example, at least one projectile, at least one projectile launcher may be attached to the wings, may be attached to the tail wing, or maybe attached to the hull. Yeah, so pretty much anywhere you want to put it on the plane, you can attach it on the plane. How convenient is that they made it so easy to use? Yeah. And it talks here about projectiles. Once again, projectiles may be constructed to spread dispersant after being launched. Projectiles may use at least one of the following compositions to generate dispersants: liquid carbon dioxide, dry ice, silver iodide, silver oxide, hygroscopic materials such as table salt and hydrophilic sodium alginate. Projectiles may also use other suitable materials. In operation, dispersant is released from projectile after projectile is launched from the barrel. In some embodiments, projectile may include metering holes on the back end or sides of projectile. The metering holes may allow dispersant to leave projectile in a controlled manner, meaning you wait until you get over a certain area and then you flip the switch. Yeah, how special is that? They really made it quite convenient, didn't they? Yeah. In some embodiments, the composition may burn within projectile to create dispersant that is emitted into the atmosphere. In some embodiments, projectile may contain an explosive charge that may detonate projectile. Once projectile has traveled a specific distance, this type of projectile may spread dispersant after detonation. So a timed release projectile missile, right? For example, when projectile is within a specified distance of a target cloud. Oh, I can't talk anymore. I think I'm going to have to end this video. You get the idea. I'm talking about projectiles and missiles and them using this type of cloud seeding technique, right? So, this is another one here. That was an interesting patent. Rocket having barium release system to create ion clouds in the upper atmosphere. Yeah, because, barium is, just not bad for us or anything like that, right? It's interesting, the origin of the disclosure of this one. I'll read a little bit into this, then I'll end this video, and then I'll try to find the other video clip from the blink cam, and then the other close-up view that I did of what I believe is one of their cloud seeding missiles that they launched to the north of our location here in Nevada. Origin of this disclosure for rocket having barium release system to create ion clouds in the upper atmosphere. The invention described herein was made in the performance of work under a NASA contract and is subject to the provisions of Section 303 of the National Aeronautics and Space Act of 1958. How special is that? This invention relates generally to a chemical release system and relates in particular to a system for releasing barium in the vapor phase so that it can be ionized by solar radiation and also be excited to emit resonance radiation in the visible range. The ionized luminous cloud of barium then becomes a visible indication of magnetic and electric characteristics in space and allows determination of these properties over relatively large areas of space at a given time compared to rocket-borne or orbiting instruments. For example, a geomagnetic field line could be illuminated by the present invention from pole to pole. Let me reread that, okay? For example, a geomagnetic field line could be illuminated by the present invention from pole to pole. Now, I don't know about y'all, but they were showing some interesting auroras extending down this last year, weren't they? Extending pretty far, farther than ever before, right? And this was back in 1974, folks, where they were talking about using this stuff and charging ion clouds. I have that other article as well from Saudi Arabia where they claim that that's what they've been doing too. And I find it really curious when they use the terms beam, emitter, and the word beam. And in some other publications, they actually use the word laser as well. Because, folks, some of the stuff getting caught on these blink cameras that I have up on the roof, I'm telling you, we got 4 of them that are aimed in all 4 directions around this valley here. And every one of them in all directions has been capturing some very interesting lights popping off. And it's not bugs, it's not insects. There's a lot of those in those videos, too. I'm seeing an awful lot of bugs, a lot of insects, a lot of flybys of like bats and other things like that. But there's an awful lot of flashes and what look like plasma lights and static. Little static plasma burst clouds that'll appear for just a few seconds and then they'll disappear. I've been capturing it in our skies from the blink cams ever since I installed them. But here's the thing. I was capturing them several years ago, back when I was capturing the weird lights over Lake Mead. And I did a little bit of an investigation into some of the projects that were being done with Lake Mead, where they had injected a bunch of little calcine-stained larvae into the water table. And then they were beaming Lake Mead with unmanned aerial vehicles, beaming it with like static energies and UV light to track the migration of their little calcine-stained larvae that they injected into our water table here in the Lake Mead. And then here it is several years later, Lake Mead's water levels went down. And then I'm also reading in other patents and methods of modifying the weather where they're talking about using these types of absorbent composites where they absorb water and they hold on to it up there and then they get full. Once they get full, then they release the moisture. What if some of these compounds that they've been spraying and some of these polymers and different agents that absorb water actually made their way into the water tables? I mean, these are all things, these are models that they've already thought of and they've already gone ahead. And like I said before, because I'm repetitive, I'll say it again, they've already taken too many liberties when it comes to deploying these types of systems. And when it comes to cloud seeding and those chemtrails that we see in the skies, I'm not going to debate with anybody anymore on whether or not they actually exist and whether or not that's what they're actually doing and that's what those actually are. Done with that debate. So anyway, thanks for watching. Know that I appreciate you and that you matter very much to me, and there's definitely more to come if I can help it. I'm going to do, I definitely want to continue doing a reading here of the National Weather Modification Policies and Programs. I want to go into their information and their summary of major findings, at least what was published back in 1979. I know that it's archaic information and it's outdated, but I feel that it's pertinent still for some of the people that don't want to believe that this has been going on for a very long time and for decades. And it needs to come to an end. They need to stop. They've already done enough damage, and in some cases, some would argue they've already gone too far. They've already passed the point of return. But I will debate that too, because Mother Nature has a way of healing itself too, if you just stop wounding it. Seriously. And they are playing around with energies now that they have no business playing around with, out there trying to play like Zeus and shit. I'm not going to be a casualty. Not here. Thanks for watching.
Okay, folks, so I want to show this again, another closer view of this, what I think was seed rockets, was missiles firing off in the far north of our location here back in January. And I think it's kind of curious because I understand and know about the technology that they're developing for using seeding rockets, missiles, with cloud seeding stuff, you know? So anyways, right there is where it happens. And in the video, it's on the right upper corner. And I'll put a link in the description to anybody that wants to watch the slow motion as well. Right there it is. And there's actually two. It almost looks like there was a second one too when I had reviewed it before. But again, I'll put a link in the description, or I'll try to find the video and then put it at the end of this other video that I just did, talking about the patent for rockets and missiles containing barium. So again, this would have been to the north of our location, just off, you know, the Nellis is off that way too, but I think this was extreme far north in the upper atmosphere. And it could have had something to do with Utah cloud seeding, or it could have had something to do with some of the Air Force bases and stuff that we have out here. I have no idea exactly. I haven't gotten any answers on it. I've made phone calls, made inquiries. I don't get no reply back, you know? Nobody replies back and gives me any kind of answer of any kind of what this was caught on the blink cam. But you know, some dude can capture a bunch of lights on the top of one of the hotels down on the Las Vegas Strip during a dust storm, and they call it mysterious lights. And they can call up all of these agencies in the FAA and get answers for it right away. But I capture something like this and try to question them about it, and I get nothing in return. In fact, I get shadow banned. In fact, this video has been buried deep in the algorithm, so I'll put a link in the description if anybody wants to check it out. But, you know, good luck. I've heard that it's displayed a lot of errors and stuff too, so anyway. Yeah, are they fighting aliens or seeding clouds? Yeah.
It calls for us taking the steps now that will make us no longer second in space and in science. It lays the predicate and the foundation for a space communication satellite that will permit the people of the world to see one television program at the same time throughout the world. Think about that kind of communication, and think about the opportunity that will provide. It lays the predicate and the foundation for the development of a weather satellite that will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer, and ultimately to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world. To control the weather, 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 control the world, control the world, control the world, control the world.
Because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!"